Howdy, folks. I'm Brian.
I'm Amber.
And here's some Reddit. Alright, folks. Our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my sister that she looks inappropriate for Easter dinner? Yes, let's move on to our next question. I'm a 33-year-old male, and I have a 22-year-old sister who I currently live with due to my impending divorce. It was an unfortunate circumstance, and I plan on getting another apartment soon. My sister is what some people would call a free spirit. She has tattoos, piercing, wears a lot of makeup, and is a lot of the times dressed pretty scandalously. Our Mima decided to host Easter dinner. My sister and her husband said that they would drive because I don't have a car. When it came time for dinner, my sister came down and she looked like she was going to the club. Her dress was up to her thighs with a V-neck and showed too much cleavage. You could see all of her tattoos, and she didn't take out any of her piercing despite knowing our whole family was going to be there, as well as incredibly heavy bright makeup. I told her that she needed to change. She was dressed very inappropriately for Easter dinner. Our whole family doesn't need to see her breasts or thighs, and she was not dressed for the occasion. She told me that she was dressed fine, and I wasn't her dad, so I couldn't tell her how to dress. And even if I was, this was her house, and it's none of my business what she wears. I told her that it was my business. She's my little sister, and I don't want her dressed like that, or anyone to think poorly about her or our side of the family, since I'm already getting divorced, and that's taboo in our family. Her husband told me to leave her alone, and I had no reason to be chastising her like that, and that she's dressed perfectly fine. We continued to all bicker in the car and arrived in poor moods. When we arrived, my sister immediately went and told our sister, both of our parents passed away and they're very close, that I called her a name and was chastising her, and our older sister called me a jerk and said that I needed to leave her alone. I said that I didn't want our aunts and uncles thinking that she was an adult worker, and now they're both being very cold towards me. Am I the jerk? Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk, and I think we're starting to see why OP's getting divorced. Like, your sister is kind enough to take you in and drive you places, and here you are, well, I'm getting divorced, so we have to make sure you look fine so our family doesn't get scorned.
Oh, yeah, I love the guy who has neither a car nor a house, who thinks he can call the shots in this situation.
It's just so ridiculous. Like, you do not get to control what other people wear.
I feel like OP thinks that he's the patriarch of their family because he's the oldest male. I'm guessing he's the oldest male.
That's what it sounds like.
And that he thinks that he can set the law and pull these kinds of moves, when in reality, he isn't at all the patriarch of their family, and I think that this is really absurd that he thinks that he can tell his sister how to dress just because he's older than her.
I know, like, she's a grown adult, she has her own house, she's married and everything, and he's like, but I still get to dictate what you do because I'm your brother.
Yeah, our family might think badly about us because of me, and then you too.
Yeah, you have to be fine so I can be bad all the time. It's like, OP, just don't get divorced then if you're so worried about your family's reputation.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, OP, I think you're totally in the wrong here. Anyhow, take care and good luck. You're the jerk, and you probably should stay somewhere else because you don't really like your sister that much. That free spirit of hers and her husband are letting you stay in their home. So, to repay that kindness, you tone police her about everything. That's creepy and ungrateful. If you want to die on this hill, secure a different couch first.
Yeah.
And OP replies, I love my sister more than anything. I walked her down the aisle at her wedding for goodness sake. Well, OP, I understand that you feel like you love your sister, but you are telling her that you don't really accept her for who she is by saying that she shouldn't dress this way. And
exactly. Yeah, that you don't value her as a person as she is. You only want her to be a little prop.
Yeah, that's basically what OP is treating her like. You need to make sure that you're the perfect prop so that I look good. And I think that that's a very problematic point of view. And Brumby79 says, "You're the jerk, bud. Tattoos, piercing, and cleavage makes one a free spirit in this day. I barely know anyone without tats and piercings anymore. And if that woman wants to show cleavage, who cares?" And OP replies, "Having 14 piercings and 39 tattoos does make someone a free spirit, yes. And yes, I've counted them. She's my sister, and I keep track of her."
This is just taking a turn for the, like, who counts their siblings' tattoos?
And Bramby79 says, "It's weird that you keep track." And no, it doesn't. I've got dozens of tats, and I'm a manager in tech. My brother is fully sleeved and also a tech manager. It's all normal these days, man. You've got some major cultural blindness. And OP replies, "And yes, she's a freelance photographer with an art degree. The pure definition of free spirit." Alright folks, our next letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for telling my wife that my cats are mine and not hers?" I'm a 29-year-old male, and I have 4 cats: Leo, Vincent, Catherine, and Frida. I'm also expecting to adopt another kitten, Cloud. I'll be able to adopt him soon. I've had the 3 eldest since before my wife and I started dating. I provided all the care for the cats, clean their litter boxes, feed them, change their water, and play with them. They are like my babies to me, and I love them. My wife doesn't really like pets. She's gentle with the cats, but she does nothing for them, and quite honestly, Leo and Catherine dislike her a lot. They were never able to get fully used to her. Well, the issue that we had yesterday, a very good friend of mine came to visit and had dinner with us. After dinner, we were hanging out in the lounge room. I was telling him about the new kitten that I'm going to adopt. Then my wife said, "We're really excited. He's so cute. Let's hope this one likes me since neither of our cats like me." At that, I responded, "They're not our cats. They're mine. And they don't like you because you don't make any effort for them." She then started arguing about how garbage it was to tell her that, and that she cares for the cats too. She was nearly screaming at this point, so I told her to lower her voice because it was embarrassing to do this when we had guests. That only made things worse, and she called me controlling and mean. She said that I won't give her kids, and I won't even let her own a cat too. I was so embarrassed. I asked my friend to please forgive her for her bad behavior, and that maybe it would be best if he would leave and we would see each other some other time. I was truly embarrassed. This friend is someone who I appreciate a lot, and she knows that. She purposely embarrassed me because she felt like it. After he left, she kept arguing, and she told me that she doesn't see a future with our marriage if I always leave her behind everything. I told her that she's exaggerating, that the cats are mine because I'm the one who's taking care of them full time, and they chose to like me, not her, for a reason. I told her that I was very embarrassed by her behavior, and at that point, she just shut her mouth, and now she won't speak to me at all. I tried talking to her, but she would just ignore me. I feel like she's exaggerating this whole issue, but am I the jerk here? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk. When there are pets in a household, it is very normal to refer to the pets as the household's pets, even if there's one primary caretaker for the animals. And that was a really strange thing to call her out and be like, "Those are my cats, not yours," in front of everyone.
I think it was completely unnecessary. I think it was a low blow.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that at this point in time, I know OP is trying to talk, but she's very clearly hurt. She also seems to have some very different expectations for this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And you and her may very well just be incompatible at a certain level.
I mean, it sounds like Opie doesn't even like her. Nowhere in this post does he say anything about a single trait he values in her. He's just like, she's doing this to spite me because blah, blah, blah. And it's like, maybe you are incompatible.
Yeah. And there are some comments down below where allegedly OP's wife comments. I don't know if this is true or not, but if it is her, she sounds very angry and resentful that she can't have kids with him. And that might be like a major point of conflict in this relationship. And again, if she was expecting kids, I don't know where she got the idea that they might have kids at some point in time. But it's really kind of selfish and mean to have called her out like that in front of a guest and be like, no, these are my cats, not your cats.
Well, and it seems like he doesn't even want her to bond with the cats necessarily. Like, it sounds like she does want to have some kind of relationship with the cats. And, you know, she's hoping this one will like her. And he's just like, nope, this is my cat too. They're all mine. You get nothing.
Yeah. So I do feel like OP is being pretty cruel in this situation. So let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, our next letter is titled, I'm a 21-year-old female. Is there a possibility that my boss, a 50-year-old male, isn't a creep and means nothing wrong? I don't know if my supervisor, a 50-year-old male, is a creep or just really nice. My question is there a possibility that he just means nothing wrong? I can understand that it may look inappropriate, but I just want to make sure that there isn't a possibility that he means nothing wrong. My supervisor is a very social, but lately it's been different. He puts his hand on my knee for like 20 to 30 seconds on multiple occasions, or his hand on my neck. He also gives me compliments like, you have a pretty long eyelashes and you look gorgeous. He also texts me a kissy face emojis on multiple occasions. He also texted me on Friday night to ask if I had already curled my hair for a party, that he knew that I had a party and that I wanted to curl it because I just bought a new curling iron, and he just texts me random sometimes. He also made remarks about my body, that I look more grown than I did before, and he liked it. I thought that it was weird, and I asked him what he meant by that, but he said that he meant that my face was a bit bigger. I don't know if that's true because I didn't see a big change in my face. Last time I was with my supervisor and a male colleague, and he gave him a high five, but he didn't give me one. Instead, he hugged me and put his hand on my back. It could be that he's just very social and flirty person of nature. He's not always like this, but right now I'm just naming all the weird parts. He can be normal at other times. He wants me to work there after my internship. I don't know what he wants because he's not always like this, but other days he can be normal. By the way, he is married. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk? What's our advice? This isn't a jerk situation.
Yeah, I mean, OP, I think he's definitely being a creep here. There's a really great comment we'll get to in a moment that's going to say this in way better words than I can, but he is towing the line of like what he can get away with. And you notice that he pulls back. Like, he'll do something inappropriate and nobody questions him. He'll be like, oh, no. Like, oh, your body is looking more grown. And we all know what he means there. And then he comes up with this weird comment about OP's face when she makes it clear she's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He's doing everything he can to, like, put on the moves while still being subtle enough that if she goes to HR, he'll just be like, oh no, I was just being friendly. I didn't realize she'd take it that way.
Yeah, well, the hand on the knee is certainly a little bit problematic, and I think most people would kind of flag that as a pretty big red flag. And there are certainly different levels of closeness that people have. So some people are more comfortable with smaller bubbles. Some people are more comfortable with more touch. Other people are less comfortable with it. Some people, you can put your hand on somebody and they're fine with it. Other people have a bubble and want to be 10 feet away from people at all times. And I guess it really just depends on your social comfort level to some degree. But also, he is really seemingly, there's a lot of other bits here. The whole picture puts it together as he is really flirting with OP. And it seems like he really is just trying to flirt with OP while simultaneously maintaining that distance so that he can have plausible deniability.
Like, there are very few, if any, fields where it is appropriate for your boss to say that they like your body in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, the body comment for sure is actually, I think you could classify that as sexual harassment, right? That's a unwanted sexual advance, and that certainly is inappropriate. And it's really hard to say, because again, he's done all the training, he knows exactly what he can get away with, and so he's just right up to where he can get away with this and it not be problematic. So yeah, OP, I definitely think that you need to set a boundary with him. I think you need to tell him that this isn't appropriate, that he can't touch you if this is making you uncomfortable, and it sounds like it is. And that he needs to be, that you want to maintain a professional relationship with him.
if that is comfortable for you. I mean, I know as an intern you don't have as much ability, so you may, I know you may need this internship to graduate or whatnot. So I would say do what is most comfortable for you. Keep your distance as much as you can. And afterward, when you're applying to companies, do not work at this place. I know he wants you to work here, but it will not get better if you keep working with him.
Yeah, well, there are alternate things that she could do here, like talk to other people in the company, like a trusted person who isn't her boss.
Well, all I mean is sometimes people just, the best thing for them is just to keep, like if there's just like a few weeks, like if it's an end of the semester thing, it may be just to keep her head down and get through it. And then just have nothing with it again, because it sounds like he's, for this time being, he's sticking within the confines of what is, again, that towing that line but not going over it. And so it's really about her comfort level, because she could, if he like blacklists her from the industry or something like that, like it could have worse repercussions. So it's really like, I just want to make sure that OP has like to know that whatever she chooses is not wrong. If you want to report him, like you are well within your right, and that is a great thing. But if you also feel like I'm an intern, I don't have any saying in this company, and it might hurt me in the future when I'm looking for jobs, that's also something to keep in mind. So
yeah, I think that's a very good point. So anyhow, take care and good luck, OP. And Death Dealer AH says, he's trying to be as vanilla flirty as possible while still hanging on to the plausible deniability if he were to be called out on it. He's dancing the line so that if he is reported, he can act surprised and walk off with a warning instead of a termination. He's definitely absolutely knows that these things aren't appropriate, and he's being intentionally right underneath the overt behavior line. He's sending you messages that are just subtle enough to see if you respond positively to him. He is testing the waters with you. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she's got a joke.
what do you call a sleeping triceratops?
Well, I call a sleeping triceratops Barney. You might think, well, Brian, isn't that a Tyrannosaurus Rex? The answer to that is that Barney isn't exclusive to one person. You could have a dinosaur named Barney, and you could have a person named Barney too, and they wouldn't be the same person. You could have a Triceratops named Barney too, and it isn't going to be the same creature as the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
I was actually really confused growing up, kind of, because like my dad's boss was named Barney, and it was like that. Was he named after the dinosaur, even though he was way older than the show? But like, you know, as a kid, that's kind of like, that's a dinosaur name, but it's also a person with that name, and like, so it just like blew little Amber's mind.
That's actually why I made that comment.
But the answer is a dino snore.
A dino snore. That's good. It's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. Amber, I need some moral guidance, and please make it the lyrics to a popular pop song. Any song.
Are you asking me to make up a pop song, or just pick a pop song that gives us advice?
You can do either.
No, all like 90s songs are going through my head, and it's not helpful. Oh, too many swears. Can I just give you a song title to take sage advice from?
Sure.
Alright. Let 'Em Talk by Kesha for story 1, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Well, the lyrics are, you know, like, shake that, we're going to use the word, we're going to censor it, so shake that butt, don't care if they talk about it. Good moral, like, just ignore your brother, he's being creepy and possessive and not a good person.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye!